Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Yesterday, when I posted an announcement to today's topic, I could see doubts, rather waves of doubts that were in the minds of the people and my friends. And some of them questioned. Till now, history has been talking about one partition of India, and that has resulted in a continuous state of war between the two countries. Four wars, inconclusive, anger, angst, hatred at different levels. But the reality is other way around. If you look at the many strifes, many issues, many problem areas in Asia, you would find that when you go deep into them, it is the partition of India. And that took place not once, not twice, but five times. And history doesn't talk about those partitions. They don't ignore it, but they don't call it partition. They give it different names. I remember reading the Home Office documents in British Museum, and I was amazed to read that 1925, the Secretary of State sent a letter to the then Viceroy telling him that slowly and steadily we should decentralize or rather, they should decentralize the British Raj. And the letter went on to explain that the British Raj actually was not confined to India. It was, according to the imperialistic Britain, stretching all the way from Yemen up to Thailand. It included princely states like Jaipur, Hyderabad, Kashmir, of course, 600 states in India. But it also included the princely states like Dubai and Oman, which were under the control of the Viceroy of India, and it was deemed to be one country, an integral whole. And the partition that people talk about it of 1947 was a culmination, rather not even a culmination. It was the fourth partition. And looking at it, partition was not one major event. It is divided into five segments that have altered the landscape and the political thought of South Asia. And the first partition took place in 1937, 10 years before 1947. And that was when Burma was separated from India. If you have read history, you would know it that Burma and Myanmar, as we know it today, was an integral part of India, like Andaman's Islands. And the Britishers used to send the political prisoners in exile to Burma from India because culturally there was a lot of difference. And then we don't associate partition with Ladakh, Northeast, Sindh, Rajasthan, and Balochistan. As a matter of fact, these were also affected by partitions at the different kinds of the country. When you look at the Northeast experience of partition, You look at the Nagaland, Mizoram, Assam, they've all been affected. And the partition with Burma was the first partition they faced because they had very close links with Burma. Even till recently, it was an open border. Before 1937, Burma was a part of the Raj, and the ethnic groups like Nagas, Rohingyas, and many others were divided between the two countries in 1937, just like Punjabis were divided in 1947. And as I said, Dubai and Oman were as much a part of India at that time as Jaipur, Hyderabad, and Kashmir was. So the first was, as I said, Burma partition, but before that also Lord Curzon had divided Bengal into two parts, which again was united and again redivided. And incredibly, we think that the division of 600 princely states that are divided between India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and about 12 had to go independent. They don't talk about the ones that did not get eaten up. Some states became independent. Can you believe Bhutan, Oman, and Qatar? They could have been amalgamated at that time, but they were not amalgamated because the Britishers wanted divide and rule to be perpetuated. Bhutan was a protectorate, so was Sikkim. But when the Indian Independence Act was passed, Oman, Dubai, they were all excluded. So this was the third partition. The fourth partition was that of Arabia. As I said, Arab parts were part of the British India Raj. That used to be the official nomenclature, British India Raj. And there's a very interesting story that has not been told. These Gulf states managed to get not absorbed by India or Pakistan. Literally, 3 months before independence, these states were handed over to the colonial office from the Indian office of the British government, a shifting. So the control shifted from the India office to the colonial office. And this was in the border, we think, between Arab verb and the Indian verb. That was the third. Fourth was, of course, 1947. And the fifth one was when Bangladesh got independence from Pakistan. So the idea is just trying to hook these different partitions, how one unified British Raj ultimately turned into 12 successor countries. Not two as is imagined, not three if you count Bangladesh, but 12 successor states. And the very fact that we think as that the two successor states are India and Pakistan is confusing because the reality is ignored in the history. Let's go back to the 30s. The idea was that these 12 successor states belonging to one setup became inimical. And these five partitions are responsible for the political crisis in Asia today. Take the problem of Rohingyas. Rohingyas crisis, which is also a part of northeastern partition story. When Burma and India were being partitioned, and India and Pakistan were later on being partitioned, the Rohingyas were a group that lived on the borderland where the three countries, Bangladesh, India, and Burma, they joined. I have been to that. The Palak Dil, Dil is the lake in Mizo language, is the confluence. And they, Rohingyas, were one of the big groups pushing for an independent Pakistan throughout the whole independence movement. But when the line was drawn, they ended up in Burma. Now, Burmese government always viewed them with suspicion because they wanted independent Pakistan and they had extra territorial loyalty. Naturally, Burmese thought them to be the fifth column of Pakistan and did not accept them as proper, fully recognized Burmese citizens. Pakistan asked Jinnah at one time to annex that part of Arakan state, but then Jinnah was more busy with Kashmir crisis. He wanted to gobble up Kashmir. Surawardi in Bangladesh had requested Jinnah that army should be sent to take over Arakan's area in Bangladesh, where Rohingyas were based, and make it a part of Pakistan, later on Bangladesh. So Rohingyas problem, which is supposed to be one of the major problems today, is rooted in the first partition. So they're all interconnected. Now comes the issues in India, the NRC debate, the Kashmir problem. They're all parts of the various parts of the partition. The Britishers, when they partitioned the country at different levels, they were following the principle of hacking one limb after another. And before the limb could be properly healed, the second limb was hacked. And the purpose was to perpetuate an enmity between different limbs so that they don't live peacefully and they keep on fighting with each other and keep on looking up to the British imperialists for a solution to their problems. Now, you would be naturally asked, thinking, how is it that I bring in Arab, the Iranian Revolution? Are you aware that Iranian Revolution, the present Khomeini government, and the rise of Taliban are also a product of partition? People think Taliban were created by Pakistan to fight the Russians, but the roots are in the partition. And it's not a far-fetched thing. The Iranian Revolution, for example, can be linked to the fact that when the Arabian states stopped being part of the Indian Empire, so that the purpose was that the British wanted to maintain their hold on oil. And how was the hold to be maintained? Through the British Petroleum Company, or BP. It was earlier used to be called Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. Until just a few years before the partition, the head office of this company was in southern Iran. Now, what happens? Iran tries to nationalize the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, and the Britishers and the Americans couldn't tolerate it. So a coup is staged. And that staging, they get rid of the Iran's democratically elected leader and put up Shah back on the throne. Purpose? They can manipulate Shah and control this oil company. Now, this oil company is running out of Bahrain, which is a part of the Indian Empire. So, the decision that led to their separation are the same set of decisions that led to Iran's democratically elected government being deposed. This ultimately leads to resentment of the West. People got angry, annoyed, and the result was Shah was overthrown and Khomeini inspired revolution was there. So, if the partition had not taken place at that time, then the British could have controlled BP directly from Bahrain, but Bahrain became independent because of the second partition. Now, rise of Taliban has more to do with Pakistan's growing military complex that happened in the wake of first partition, that Burma. That started there, but the Bangladesh independence gave it a lot of energy. What happened? India had been creating Mukti Bahinani in Bangladesh. That nobody can deny that Mukti Bahinani was a product of India. And the fact was that the two countries, India and Pakistan, started engaging in this kind of warfare where they could send ununiformed men and women to the other country, fund them, and create extra state people, characters, to fight the war. A lot of funding by Pakistan for the Taliban emerges out of Shah's of this. They learn the lesson that if India can create Mukti Bahini and throughout Pakistan from Bangladesh, why can't they do the same with India? Khalistani movement, controlled, directed, moved by Pakistan. It's an eye opening to see what's going on in the peripheral corner of the ranch. So much we know about the partition that came to Punjab, Chittagong, and I said Nagaland, Mizoram. All the problems in the north is that India inherited were because of the first and second partition. So the Asian problems that we are having today are primarily the result of the British insidious policy of dividing people on the basis of color. They wanted to divide even India into two parts, north and south. They wanted to create Dravidistan. Sri Lanka, part of India, was made separate. So the country which was there from Middle East to Thailand, from Yemen to Thailand, was created into 12 successor countries. And the internal deliberations, jealousies, cultural factors, political factors, all that added fuel to the fire. And right from Rohingya to Khalistani to Tamilian issue in Sri Lanka, if Sri Lanka had been a part of India, Tamil issue would not have been there. Kashmir, Naga, Mizos, Assam issue, Sikkim problem, Bhutan issue, Nepal issues, all these are interconnected, and the connecting link is the partitions which started with Lord Curzon, the first experiment, and then slowly and steadily perfected with precision like cutting of the limbs. But the limbs did not heal. They started putrefying, decaying, emitting foul smell. And that foul smell keeps on haunting till today. That's the tragedy of Asia. And that's the treachery of the imperialistic powers, treachery of the human sentiments. History reveals that selfishness is the root cause of all inhumanity, and the outstanding example of that is the five partitions that have resulted into the problems that we are facing today. Thank you.